Hey everyone! Welcome back to our chess channel, where we explore the fascinating world of chess strategies and openings. Today we're diving into the Dutch defense, a chess opening that's a bit of a mystery to many players. It's an opening that can catch your opponent off guard and lead to some very interesting games. Some players think it's super strong while others think it's a bit strange. The Dutch defense is definitely not your typical opening, and that's what makes it so intriguing. Unlike openings named after famous chess players, this one comes from, you guessed it, the Netherlands. It's a unique opening that has its roots in Dutch chess history. Way back in the 1600s, players started trying out this unusual defense. It was a time when chess was evolving and new ideas were being tested on the board. What makes it so unusual? Well, imagine this. Most defenses to a move called 1d4 try to control the center of the board. Controlling the center is a fundamental principle in chess because it allows for greater mobility and control. But the Dutch? It goes straight for the side with a move called f5. This move can be quite surprising for opponents who are used to more conventional responses. This bold move shows that black wants to play a different kind of game, one full of surprises and quick attacks. The Dutch defense can lead to very dynamic and aggressive positions. So, is the Dutch defense any good? Well, many chess champions have used it successfully, even at the highest levels of competition. It's a testament to its effectiveness and the element of surprise it brings. For those still learning, it's a fun way to learn how to attack and think outside the box. The Dutch defense encourages creativity and can help players develop a more versatile approach to the game. So why not give it a try in your next game and see how it works for you? The move that defines the Dutch defense is 1ff5. This move immediately tells everyone what black is thinking. They don't want a boring game. Black wants to make threats on the side, hoping white will walk into a trap. This f5 pawn, sometimes called the Dutch pawn, puts pressure on the center and opens up paths for black's pieces. But this aggressive style has its downsides. Black's king, the most important piece, might be left open to attack, and white will have more space to move their pieces early on. The Dutch defense is like a two-sided coin. It can be really good or really bad, so both players have to be careful. After 1d4f5, white has a few choices, and each one leads to a different type of Dutch defense game. The two most popular moves are 2c4 and 2g3. 2c4 directly challenges black's control of the side. It's the most common response to the Dutch, leading to exciting and tricky variations like the Stonewall and Leningrad. 2g3 develops white's king's knight, planning to move it to g2 later. This is a less aggressive approach, aiming for a slower, more strategic game. White's choice sets the tone for the whole opening. 2c4 means a direct fight, while 2g3 is more like a game of chess strategy. One of the most popular setups in the Dutch defense is called the Stonewall. It happens after these moves: 1d4f5, 2c4 e6, 3 knight f3 d5, 4 e3. The Stonewall gets its name from how black arranges their pawns. Pawns on d5, e6, and f5 create a strong wall that's tough to break through. This wall acts like a shield for black's king and a base for their other pieces. But the Stonewall isn't perfect. Black's pieces can feel stuck behind the wall. To win, black needs to find ways to free their pieces and break through white's defenses. Classical versus Leningrad. Are they really that different? In the Dutch defense, there are two main styles based on how black moves their king's knight: the Classical Dutch and the Leningrad. In the Classical Dutch, black moves their knight to e7 to control a very important square, d5. This style focuses on using the pieces skillfully, and often leads to complicated and exciting battles. In the Leningrad, black moves their knight to g6, aiming to swap it for white's knight on f3. This creates more open positions where both sides can move their pieces freely. The Classical Dutch is like a well-planned strategy game, while the Leningrad is more about quick attacks and surprises. Both styles are good, and they each offer unique challenges for both players. To really succeed with the Dutch defense, you need to understand the strategy behind it. This opening is not just about making the right moves, it's about understanding the underlying principles that guide those moves. The Dutch defense is a dynamic and aggressive opening that aims to control the center of the board and create counter-attacking opportunities. It's not enough to just memorize moves, you have to get the big picture. You need to understand why each move is made and how it contributes to your overall strategy. This involves recognizing patterns, anticipating your opponent's responses, and being flexible enough to adapt your plan as the game progresses. Let's look at a short game that shows typical Dutch defense ideas. This will help you see how the opening can unfold and what kinds of positions you might aim for. By studying these examples, you can start to internalize the key concepts and apply them in your own games. 1. D4 F5-2, C4 NF6-3, NC3 E6-4, NF3 B7-5, G3 006, BG2 D6-7, OOQA 8-8, Re1 NC6-9, E4 FXE 410, X4 X411, Rax4 D512, Sex D5 XD5 13, Re1 BD6 14, BG5 QF7 QD2 BF5 16, NH4 BD7 17, BXD5 QXD5 18, Rex 7 NX7 19, Bex 7 BX7 20, QXD5 plus 1, 0. In this game, black sacrifices a pawn to open up a path for their queen. This is a common theme in the Dutch defense, where material sacrifices are often made to gain a positional or tactical advantage. This allows black to attack the white king who is left vulnerable. The Dutch defense often leads to sharp, double-edged positions where both sides have chances to win. It's important to stay alert and be ready to seize any opportunity that arises. White can't withstand the pressure and eventually loses. This game illustrates the power of the Dutch defense when played correctly. By understanding the key ideas and being willing to take calculated risks, you can put your opponent under significant pressure. This game shows how important it is to move your pieces actively and be aware of potential attacks when playing the Dutch defense. Always be on the lookout for opportunities to create threats and disrupt your opponent's plans. With practice and study, you can master this exciting and dynamic opening. Even though the Dutch defense can be really strong, it has some weaknesses too. Knowing these weaknesses is super important for both players. One weakness is king safety. Black's king side can be a target, especially if the f-pawn moves too far. White often tries to use this weakness by attacking with their queen and bishop. Another weakness is space. In many variations, white has more space to move their pieces in the center and on the king side. Black needs to find ways to fight back by creating threats and using their pieces actively. Lastly, black's pieces can sometimes develop slowly, especially if white is playing aggressively. Black must develop their pieces quickly and not waste time moving pawns. Understanding these weaknesses helps black avoid common mistakes. For white, knowing these weaknesses helps them target black's weak spots and gain an advantage. Now that we've learned about the Dutch defense, let's test your knowledge with a tricky puzzle. It's black's turn to move. Can you find the winning combination for black? Solution: QG5+. White has to move their king to KH1. Then black plays BH3, trapping the white king. White can't stop the checkmate. Mastering the Dutch defense, just like anything else in chess, takes practice and study. It's not just about knowing the moves, but understanding the underlying principles and strategies that make this opening effective. The Dutch defense is a rich and complex opening that can give you a strong position if played correctly. Here are some tips to help you. First, study games played by chess masters who use the Dutch defense. Watch their games closely, and try to understand why they make certain moves. Look for patterns and common themes in their play. This will give you a deeper insight into the opening and help you anticipate your opponent's moves. Pay attention to their strategies, how they attack, and how they handle common situations. Notice how they respond to different types of attacks, and how they transition from the opening to the middle game. This will help you develop a more flexible and adaptable approach to your own games. Second, play against strong opponents. Seek out players who are better than you, as this will challenge you to improve. Playing against stronger opponents will expose your weaknesses and force you to think more critically about your moves. This will show you your weaknesses and help you improve. After each game, take the time to analyze what went wrong and what you could have done differently. This self-reflection is crucial for growth and development in chess. Don't be afraid to lose. It's how we learn. Every loss is an opportunity to learn something new and to refine your strategies. Embrace your mistakes and use them as stepping stones to become a better player. Third, try to understand what your opponent is planning. Chess is not just about executing your own plans, but also about anticipating and countering your opponent's strategies. Try to put yourself in their shoes and think about what they might be trying to achieve. Don't just focus on your own plans. Lastly, be patient. The Dutch defense can be a tricky opening and it may take time to see results. Be persistent and keep practicing. The Dutch defense can be a tricky opening. It requires a deep understanding of positional play and a willingness to engage in complex strategic battles. Don't be discouraged if you don't see immediate success. Don't give up if you don't see results right away. With time and effort, you'll start to master it. The key is to stay committed and keep learning from each game you play. With time and effort, you'll start to master it. The Dutch defense is a rewarding opening for those who are up for the challenge. It offers rich possibilities for creative and dynamic play. The Dutch defense is a rewarding opening for those who are up for the challenge. By understanding its strategies, tactics, and potential weaknesses, you can add this powerful weapon to your chess skills. By understanding its strategies, tactics, and potential weaknesses, you can add this powerful weapon to your chess skills. So go out there, play the Dutch, and enjoy the exciting games ahead. So go out there, play the Dutch, and enjoy the exciting games ahead. Remember, every game is a new opportunity to learn and grow. Embrace the challenge and have fun with it.